I mean, before we get started on the actual podcast, I just have to share this amazing news with our guest today.
Wow.
You joking?
Do you want to give some
That's huge.
Here we go.
That's
So
huge.
Here we go.
Not here we go, but the flights and medical tests are booked for Lenny Yoro at Manchester United.
Ah.
So
it's fair enough. It's
if they've agreed to do a medical test, then it means that the contract's pretty much there.
as long as he doesn't collapse on his fitness test, I think he's fine.
What should be really funny is when this podcast comes out, is he's not signed.
He's at Real Madrid, yeah.
And on that note, hey guys, and welcome to the Blue Podcast. Today the hosts are me, Henry, and Carlos, sat next to our guest Kieran. How you doing, mate?
Very good, thanks. Very, very good.
As you guys can see, we have a brand new setup as well.
Woo!
Awesome.
We love it.
This is nice.
This is awesome.
It's very, very comfy.
I feel very,
Very comfy.
You guys can see our legs now as well. It's not stuck under the table.
Yeah, especially here.
It's
I
especially-
get my shorts, my socks.
How well, Carlos, you've been away for a bit.
Be like amazing. I don't
Too
even-
long, you can't talk.
He's been off the podcast for so long.
So much thing has happened in the
forgotten
last
to
few
do it.
days, mate.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we're filming this after an event that we won't cover in this video because we're going to cover it plenty in the next video. But
It'll be out after that video though. that we're talking
so it
about.
will already be out.
This will be out after. That
So
video.
you will already have seen us just talking,
Crying
miserable.
about England.
Yeah, crying about England.
And obviously
Yeah,
Carlos
it
is
was.
sitting there all smug.
Loving it.
Shit.
What a game. What
You
a
watched it,
game.
Kieran?
Yeah, I did watch it. Seeing thoughts though, it was such a drag. I think that first 20 minutes, half an hour, it was like watching paint dry. Honestly,
yeah.
it
No,
was
100%.
atrocious. But I think we need a manager now going forward that's gonna sit off on the front foot, play fast attacking football, and I think that's what's gonna really.
Okay. Well,
Set it going
here's the
forward.
question then. Excluding people who are unavailable because for whatever reason, you could appoint anybody and they will say yes. Who's your dream appointment for England manager?
Pep.
That's
Guardiola.
what I said in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be Pep in it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
dream is Pep. I think just to throw another name out there because I think I don't know if it's doable. I hope it is, but I don't know. The name that I would want after him would be Lee Carsley, who's the under-21 England boss. Because I don't think Eddie Howe or Graham Potter are going to play fun, attractive football. I think they're going to try and win it, same as Southgate. And I don't put any faith in English managers because they don't win anything.
Yeah.
And with this Lee Carsley bloke, he's won the under-21 Euros with England. He's played with a lot of these players or managed them.
Yeah.
He's worked for Man City and for Brentford, so he's got a very good tactical brain. And watching England play the under-21s, they score so many goals. Like they haven't lost a game in ages. After they won the tournament, they still haven't lost. They won the last game 9-0. They play free-flowing, attacking football. They play with one midfielder who's like free, like roaming, just like creating chances. And that's what I want to see in the main team.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about football.
No, sorry.
We are here
Off
to
topic.
talk about Kieran. Do you want to tell our audience a bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I think my background is quite a lot of different things,
Yeah.
to be fair, over the past kind of 4 years since I started my entrepreneurial journey, as you like to say. I have a digital marketing agency, but what I'm currently trying to get into, and not just currently getting into, but what I'm into now, is more relationship coaching and looking into that kind of side about, how people work and relationships and love and how people can really find connections, especially more Gen Z, because I think a lot of people, a lot of coaches, right, when we get to this stage in our life, obviously I'm not there yet as I'm a 22-year-old man, right? A lot of people get life coaches when they get to divorce, they get to marriage, get to all these big milestones in their life. But as a young male, and you guys can probably relate, you don't really have that person you can always go to, a bit like women in a way, where they have their own communities. So when you go on that first date, they always kind of refer back to them. How did the date go? When we, as males, we don't really have that whole thing. I feel it's a lot of one-worded answers. We don't like to open up and talk about how we're feeling. So yeah, I think having that community, whether that's something I can do or just creating conversation, I think it's very very difficult for a lot of young men in the dating scene. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to get down slowly but surely.
So kind of like you're basically saying that when a guy goes on a date or they found a girl that they want to see,
Yeah.
they don't necessarily go to their mates about it.
No.
That's basically what you're trying to say.
No, I don't think they do at all. Look, I don't necessarily know why, but I think obviously with a lot of women, they're in the group chats, they're talking to their friends, talking about what did he wear, what did he smell like, all these little things. How did he act? How does he come across? And I feel like it might just be me, I don't know, but a lot of people I talk to, other men, it's a real difficult conversation to have, I feel. And men aren't that talkative about dating. They like to keep it private, I think. And a lot of friendship groups kind of goes back to school, right? We don't really like to talk about, I'm seeing this girl, because sometimes you think, my friends might think differently of me, or, so I think just as a whole, as a young male in the dating scene, it is really hard to find that connection in a way.
Do you think that has a lot to do with what, like, guys seeing social media and that? Or not really?
Yeah, I feel like with social media and the way that's had an impact on dating, especially people our age, we've got endless choices. And I feel that's the biggest thing, because a lot of the time we put all this effort into different people. It's draining, right? We speak to, look, I don't know how many, if you're on a dating app or if you're on a dating app.
Well,
this is the thing,
But-
right?
But
Of course, you don't.
What a
So-
question!
well,
Up until recently, I had about 12 dating apps going. Up until recently, but now I have 0. So
oh,
What?
what?
I have come off them.
What plot twist
This is a plot twist and a
Didn't
half.
expect
I mean,
that.
I don't know why you're reacting like that, because I told you earlier. But
No, you told me something, but that didn't imply you to delete the dating apps.
I'm in a period of exclusivity.
Which would be
is what
really
I'll say.
funny is when this podcast does come out in a few weeks' time, they're all back.
Yeah. I mean, I
15
really,
now.
Sorry,
I
mate.
really hope not. But obviously,
I hope not for you as well. I hope not
Yeah.
for you.
But no, I get exactly what you mean. Dating apps are really shit. Like,
yeah,
even if I wasn't seeing this person, I probably would have come off a lot of them by now.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's a few that I like, but other than that,
This is news to me. Sorry,
Well,
I didn't realise.
I haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, true. A lot happens in 2 weeks.
yeah.
A lot happened in 2
In all
weeks.
fairness, this
apparently.
has happened like in the last 2 days. So.
Oh, nice. Congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, though, because we've got so much choice, we don't necessarily put that effort into that one person. So we end up spreading out our efforts across so many different people, and we're not actually getting to the point of what we want. So when we're trying to find the perfect partner, I think trying to break it down. Look, I was listening to Paul Brunson on Diary of a CEO this morning and last night, and he was talking about there should be a dating app where you can only have 3 matches a week, purely because you can put all of the effort into them 3 people. And when people go on their first date, and this is a thing I want to get into, people put so much pressure on, okay, I have to look a certain way, or I have to buy new clothes or whatever. But the best way, in my opinion, for a first date is to turn up authentically by yourself. Don't put on a front, and just be yourself as who you are, because I think that's what that's what the other person's buying into. You can't put across a false self, because you put across that false self, when you go on the second, third, fourth date, it'll be exposed, so it's really
100%.
important that.
Do you think that might be why some dating in the kind of in your 20s right now is seen as quite prolific, because people are going in in the way that they want to be perceived as, getting found out down the line, and then ending, and then having to go again, basically.
Yeah, I know. That kind of goes back to being authentic and turning up as you are, not putting on a front. It is quite relentless, I feel. And a lot of it also goes down to your friendship group and the people that are around you. If your friends are out drinking all the time, or if your friends are in certain kind of environments, and you tend to attract them type of people as partners. So, for example, if your mates are, sleeping about or whatever with different people, then you're going to be like, oh, that's the normal thing to do, That kind of then goes into the next thing I wanted to talk about in terms of parents and influence and stuff, So let's say if your father was on paper a cheater, a liar, a compulsive liar, whatever he was, growing up, that's going to be the normal thing to you. You're going to be like, when you're looking at your father and you're seeing different women coming in and out the door, that's normal for you,
It's just kind of like a lot of nature or nurture, basically.
Yeah, it's learned behaviour, I think, and that's around your environment. That's also again, your friends, your family, and as a young, we're always learning, right? And I think your environment plays a big role on that in terms of the natural course of where that goes, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I feel like your environment plays a big factor. I think your family plays a big factor as well. You know, if your mother and father were together for a long time, then you're going to kind of see that kind of loving connection. So that's something you're going to seek. You know, I think a lot of the time, again, relating to that last podcast, not podcast, sorry, the Paul Brunson episode on Diary of a CEO, he was talking about love languages and kind of the way people connect. So if let's say if your mother was working all the time, right, and your mother you never saw your mother, then you're going to try and seek that attention in a relationship because you're missing that kind of that attention, if that makes sense. So you're going to seek it elsewhere. That can work in completely different ways as well. So it could work the opposite way. So if you've got too much attention in a relationship, you'd be like, oh, you're showing me too much love, go away. So it's a lot of it is down to your parents or whoever you've grown up with will play a massive role on the way you treat relationships, not just relationships, but friendships, and the way you trust people as well.
Okay.
Do you think that maybe, you know how divorce is increasing?
Yeah.
As kind of the years seem to go by, do you think that might have quite a big influence on kind of their kids, you know, dating? And I do think that when you see people who who are terrible at dating or just like have a bad taste in men or girls, and kind of you tend to see a pattern there where it's their family life, their home life isn't great. Yeah,
I think that's right. You know, I think that's not down to their choice. That's down to nature. You know, the way, as I just said, the way their family was. Let's say if their mother was quite vulnerable, and they attached to a partner who's abusive, maybe. You know, that's quite a deep subject to go down. So if you're seeing that, on a day-to-day basis, it's really difficult thing to talk about. You know, because a lot of people are struggling out there in different kind of relationship circumstances and family issues. But I think the way people connect is purely from experience and what they see around them. And I know I'll keep repeating myself in terms of nature, but yeah, that's how people connect.
So you're saying it's nature, not nurture? In a sense, I'd personally say that how a family, like you're never born, for example, a killer.
No.
But if you're, and also, two people can be put in the same scenarios growing up, and one of them may be a killer, one of them won't be. But they are in a scenario where the nurture will higher percentage chance of that happening. Same thing with this. You know, I would say it's more nurture than it is nature. I don't know if you agree.
I think you got a point. It's like when, let's say, if your father was an alcoholic, right? You're either going to be an alcoholic or you won't touch it in your whole life. That's what I believe. So it's what do you think?
It's taking it to the extreme, isn't it? It's seeing a behavioural concept, a behavioural pattern of a father figure or a mother figure.
Yeah.
And it's kind of you're forming an opinion of that.
Yeah.
For example, my dad is the most stubborn man you will ever meet on the planet.
Yeah.
And I am now the most stubborn man you will ever meet on the planet.
Facts.
I don't let things go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's agree.
When I want something done a certain way, like I've got to make sure it's done a certain way, and it's come down because I've watched him do it, and it's not even like a conscious thing. I think it's completely subconscious that I go.
It seeps into you, and that's from childhood. You know, you don't realize that, but it's from when you can walk. You know, it's like, I'm trying to relate it to football in a way. It's like when you're young and you're dreaming of, you see a footballer play on TV and you're trying to replicate them in a way. Obviously, that's conscious because you're trying to replicate what they're doing.
Exactly.
But obviously, with behaviours and what people do, it's all subconscious, and you don't even realise it half the time, you know, when you're younger, and that can seep into your young adulthood. It can go into even your very late adulthood as well. And that really, again, it affects your relationships, affects your friendships, it affects everything. But also as well, it's good to be open-minded as well. And this is why I feel like I can connect with quite a lot of people, because you have to be a critical thinker. You have to, and it's kind of going into dating now, but you have to be a critical thinker and to think about, okay, why is that person always going for this type of person? And it's trying to track back, like, okay, they're going for this type of person because is it their family? Is it what they think's normal in their head? You know, what's normal to you might not be normal for Carlos.
No. Well, Carlos isn't normal, but you know. But would you say that it's something?
I don't really like normal.
Obviously, you're a trainer of this kind. How much is? So I say fixable. I don't know if it's the right term.
Yeah.
How much is changeable, and how much is kind of just stuck in who they are as they've been brought up?
Ooh, good question.
That is a good question. I think it's difficult because you have to have the emotional intelligence to understand, okay, where am I going wrong? It's a lot of self-reflection that comes from, and a lot of the times it's hard to sit there I feel like as a man and be open and honest and really look at yourself in the mirror and think, where have I gone wrong, you know? And it's dropping that ego sometimes, but then also dropping that ego is also being vulnerable as well. It takes real power to be vulnerable, and it takes real power to be compassionate as well, and to open up, whether it's to your family or your friends. This kind of goes back into mental health as well. It's you know, you need to talk to people. You know, you can't just soak it up all in yourself. I think that's why I did a recent video on my Instagram, and I got quite a lot of feedback about it, like positive feedback. And I think a lot of people cheat. This is a big topic, but people cheat sometimes because they have so much tension in them. Where do they let it out? You know, if they have no one to speak to, they've no one to kind of speak to about their relationship problems. It's building and building and building, and they just can't escape. So they just be like, oh, I need pleasure. I need to release it somehow. So whether that's through sexual relations or whether that's through, you know, any type of like cheating, whether it's, you know, on your phone or any type of way. But obviously, a lot of the time, cheating does come from betrayal as well. So that's a big thing, and I don't buy into the narrative of, you know, once a cheat, always a cheat. I don't believe that at all, because a lot of your past or your ex or whoever it was, they could be the reason why you cheated, and it's not the right way to do it. I'm not saying it's a good thing, because this is where that emotional intelligence comes from. You need to speak up and talk about it. But as I said at the start, it's having that vulnerability to do it. But then if you don't have that supportive network, you can't do it.
So do you believe, like, if someone cheats one time, she or he is more likely to do it again, or not really?
It goes off the person, and it goes on that particular relationship. I don't think it's all. We grow and develop as people, right? And, you know, me as a 17-year-old is different to a 22-year-old. You know, some people take 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to break out of habits and stuff. But sometimes you just meet that one person and it changes your perspective on things. Sometimes you don't learn at all, and you kind of stay in that kind of loop. Yeah. So I think, one is looking yourself in the mirror. Obviously, that's hard to do, having the right people around you. But also as well, from what I'm trying to build in terms of a community on TikTok or hopefully on Instagram as well, of supporting people that are kind of going through similar things. And it's a hard thing to talk about as well, especially cheating and people our age, I like to say. So, yeah.
Do you think therapy could be a good route to go down if for example, if you have cheated, or like, let's say you're not in the best headspace, and that can probably affect your relationship?
Yeah, I think so. And there's no shame in therapy either. You know, I feel like I feel like even if your relationship is in the best possible spotlight, still go therapy, because it keeps it healthy.
Well, it's that kind of whole picture of mental health, isn't it? Like, I've not got to the point where I've had to go to therapy, but I've certainly considered it. Yeah. And you have to be open to that for all aspects of your mental health, whether it's relationship issues, if it's personal issues, if you've got like a mental disease.
Yeah.
It's trying to not fix yourself, but try and improve your health. Like we
No,
all go to the gym.
But even when things are
You gotta
going alright, I think it's good to go.
Yeah.
Because it's still seen like a really, really negative thing in it. Like,
That needs to
if
change.
you need therapy, it's still seeing, oh, something's going on with you in it.
Yeah.
It is a stigma that needs breaking.
It's maintenance. That's all it is. It's maintenance. It's like, fixing your gut sometimes when you need it.
If you've got abs, doesn't mean you don't stop going to the gym.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
because
yeah.
you
It's
look-
like going to the gym. It's just consistency, and it's a bit like muscle memory.
Yeah.
It's relationships and having a healthy relationship. It's just like muscle memory, and to keep it healthy, you need to work it out. And whether that's going for a coffee every week for with your partner, whether that's organising, a weekend away every month or something, it keeps it healthy. And having honest, down to earth, and just them conversations that you have are really, really important. But then also as well, sometimes you can. I keep referring back to this podcast with Stephen Bartlett and Paul Brunson, but he was saying sometimes, think about playing tennis, right? Sometimes you have to hit that ball over 5 times to get your point across, and you have to be accepting. You have to be willing to do that for your partner. Sometimes even when they could be really stubborn or they might not agree with you all the time. There we go. But you have to keep getting that point across in terms of,
I was pointing at Henry, by the way. I don't know if it picked up on
I
camera.
think it picked it up.
Yeah, so it's all about hitting that tennis ball across, and it's acting as well, and it's showing that you care. A lot of times, I've been in past relationships. I think quite a lot of us have been in relationships. I've had a relationship for 4-5 years, and you need to keep it alive. You need to keep it alive, and if you neglect it, it's like not watering a plant. It dies, and that's it. And that can go through. Not to get too spicy now, but it's, but it's sometimes it is spicing up your sex life. It is, and that's a difficult thing to talk about. I think as men together.
What do you mean like that for?
What, do you know something he doesn't know?
Okay.
But
Some details later.
Do you see as do you understand that it could be seen like a negative thing, like a person that have gone on like a lot of relationships, or not really? Well, for example, imagine I meet a girl.
Yeah.
And I know she tells me that she has had like 5 relationships in 3 years and none of them have worked.
Yeah, on that, people lying about their body count.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
that's another thing.
I think that's kind of what he means. Like the high body. People care
body
a lot
count.
about
Okay,
how many
okay.
people
So-
you've been with.
It's a difficult one, right? Because it always goes off your perception.
Because personally, I think you shouldn't have to lie about it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't give it. I
Well,
couldn't care
like
less.
if you care and love for this person, doesn't matter how many people they've slept with. before.
Exactly, and it goes back to that first date. It's been honest and it's been open. If you lie from the get go, you're doomed. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's just been look. If you slept with 100 people, just say, because I'd rather someone be honest with me and say they slept with 100 people, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Experience.
Like,
it is.
it's
It's,
just-
a,
it's
it's
just-
a lot
it's
of
just-
experience.
They could have had 100 times really bad.
Hey, it's
That's
either
difficult, mate.
Rookie
It's
numbers here.
it's either someone who's got experience or it's somebody who you're going to explore this thing together. So there's positives of going both ways.
It's perception.
Why would you look for the negative? I don't. That's why. I
No,
don't
but
get it.
either if you don't like it, you just know it just straight away and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
don't go on a date
I suppose
again.
if you
Also,
just-
they're not
yeah.
for you if they're not happy with what you've done.
Yeah, of course.
They're not for you then.
Yeah.
If
True,
anything,
very
you're
true.
nipping it in the bud early.
Yeah, truth and honesty. I said this to the person I'm talking to at the moment. Is that the first thing, my biggest red flag is people who lie to me. Don't lie to me. Tell me the truth. Be honest.
Yeah.
Be upfront. And it's ended relationships
Yeah.
and stuff before, where I've just gone. I've asked for the truth and they've just pied it off,
Yeah.
and I've gone okay, I can't do this anymore. Yeah, that's a pretty shit situation to be in. I can't lie.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry.
But so how are you going about doing this change? What's your plan?
It's just creating conversation, and it's asking uncomfortable questions to people that, again, like I just said, about spicing up your sex life. You and your mates don't really want to talk about that. Well,
I didn't say I did. I never said I
again,
did.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
That's
It's
not what I'm
it's your perception again.
Yeah.
So, some people might want to talk about that all day. I don't know, but also it's
Stop looking at me, man. Stop looking at me.
No, but I say it always depends on the confidence in it that
Yeah,
you have with the
100%.
people around.
Yeah.
I'm now seeing very not confident.
I'm probably not helping with that, to be fair, but I don't know. Is it? Because I don't know about you guys. When I'm with like my male friends, especially people I've known for a long time, I flirt with my male friends. Like,
Oh yeah.
is that something that people see as?
My girlfriend's
sorry,
my
sorry.
girlfriend said before, like, with some of my mates, she's thought I was going to kiss her at some points.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like,
So with your girlfriend's friends?
no,
What?
my mates.
Your
No,
mates.
my mates.
Yeah.
my guy friends.
Yeah. So
Ah,
I'm
friends.
right.
No, don't worry.
I'm a massive flirt with all of my guy friends.
Yeah. I mean, there's a TikTok of
Yeah.
us getting rather close.
Yeah, we lean in and it cuts away.
Very.
Very close. I was not consenting to how close we got initially.
It was your idea,
but it was my idea. So I mean, it was your punishment, which I then got involved in.
I was gonna say you put yourself in that scenario.
What was the question again?
Um,
I was trying to get back to the point.
What was I talking about?
Well, if not,
Is
I
that
can
something
go
that's
to-
healthy? Is that something that's looked upon as a positive thing? It's like, okay, you're comfortable with your sexuality, you're comfortable with your.
Oh, it was it was the. You talking about flirting with guys?
Is that
normal?
is that a normal thing? Is that a?
Because you've been talking about how often guys
Got you.
don't, necessarily express themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'd say with a lot of my guy friends, probably you two are a good example. I'd say we are pretty open, but that might be more of a modern friendship, if that makes sense. Whereas some people probably aren't anywhere near like that.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like it's a good question.
I think we've put you in a very uncomfortable position now.
It's I think thought provoking, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's really honestly that's really hard. I feel like for a lot of people, they're not always comfortable with that. I've had situations in the past where my guy friends have started flirting with my girlfriend.
Ooh.
I mean, that's another point.
that's
That's a different point.
Not
That's a
different.
different point. We're talking guy on guy who's a
Yeah.
heterosexual male.
Where there's there's no actual intention of doing anything. It's
That's
just
fine.
It's
That's
just
fine.
being comfortable.
I just
But
took him over that turn.
What do you mean, like? What you saying? Like it's right? Like you're friends with your girlfriend?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah,
I was
but
like-
Yeah,
but
I'm saying
it's
if either of
not
you
just
did,
like
I'd
No,
don't
that's
flirt with my
not-
girlfriend.
that's not the
It's,
point.
If
Yeah.
we're in a committed relationship, say me and whoever,
Yeah,
like that's me and between. Unless we make it open, that's closed.
But
So-
also,
got you.
but also,
Don't go down that road.
but also, I want you guys to be friends with my girlfriend.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
of
not in that way. I wouldn't
No,
flirt with her.
obviously I wouldn't.
Obviously not in that way, Henry. What
I've
do
got-
you
I've just
mean
sat
by
there. I've
that?
just sat there at the bar, and you two were just like whispering each other's ears. Yeah, nah, mate, you're good.
I've got a question for all of you, right?
Go on.
Yeah.
Would you feel uncomfortable if one of your guy friends went out with your girlfriend by themselves?
Depends.
Depends on the context.
Context, it makes a difference.
Context and I don't know if
How much you trust them.
How close they are as well.
How long you've been in the relationship also.
Yeah.
Because if it's
Yeah.
like a new relationship, and it's not that you don't trust people, just your girlfriend. It's just that you don't know yet. When you're comfortable,
I don't think it's even trusting your girlfriend. It's then trusting your mates.
I think it's more
It's
trust.
both.
I think
because you've known them for longer, so you'll be more let down.
It's both. I think you've
Think?
got to. If it's a new mate, then it's a bit weird. If it's a new girlfriend, it's a bit weird. If it's two people you trust, or they knew each other
Yeah.
beforehand anyway, and you've just
That's-
kind of met at the same time.
I think actually, it's a very fine line
Mm.
between like if they've known each other from before even you.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
point.
Then like I've seen it happen before where someone started dating like someone and this person is still very close with someone who's also your friend, but you weren't you weren't in that relationship partnership before, and then they've ended up ending, and that's happened.
How does that make you feel?
Well, I've not been in that end, so I'm quite lucky. But
But how do you think?
I bet it made that
Yeah.
person probably feel pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't live in fear. You cannot live
Yeah.
in fear. This is something I've been saying for a while. Is if anything, living in fear is unattractive. If you are saying to your partner that they can't do certain things because you're worried about them, you're already questioning their
You
trust.
have to put your faith in them
Yeah.
to do the right thing.
You got to trust someone until they prove that you can't trust them.
There's levels. Like for example, if it's a new relationship
Yeah.
and like so that happens, you go out with the guy friend, you might be like, "Oh, just text me, make sure you're okay," like stuff like that. Or when you get down the line, he's like, okay, cool, have fun. I trust you. Like you've got to put your faith in them. You got to have your. What I think you're trying to say.
Based on trust.
What I think you're trying to say is that you've got to be that kind of person who's glass half full. You've got to trust, faith, positivity.
Unless they end up breaking
unless
it
someone
and
lets you down.
I'm going to put another
broken.
one. Imagine it's a guy friend, but that you don't know. You know what I mean?
But if it's their friend, then it's their friend.
It's got nothing to do with you, has it?
No.
True. And you won't be betrayed if it's them. It's on her.
You'd be betrayed by her.
You won't be
also
betrayed by the friend because that you don't know him.
But you can't. What you're gonna say that your girlfriend, who's probably been friends with like a bunch of guys who are still like her friends for years, now I can't hang out with them.
I mean, with modern statistics,
in my opinion,
couldn't care less.
She can do
with
whatever.
modern statistics, there's a very high chance that that person is gay anyway. So, and also
statistics. Where are you getting these from? Wikipedia.
I have to look up the actual numbers. But the point is that obviously you've got to put your faith in the person.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kieran?
Yeah, I think trust is the most important thing, and that comes from you. I think that also comes from, as I said before, about your relationship with your mother and father. If you don't trust your mother and father at a young age, then you probably won't end up trusting your partner. So if, for example, if it's your mother and if you're a guy talking to a girl, you're always going to have that in the back of your head, like, oh, it's not it's subconsciously, isn't it? You're thinking like, oh, what was I going to say now? My mind's gone blank.
It happens, bro. Trust me.
It does.
It happens on a podcast.
It'll come back to me.
It's the really bright lights. They do like sometimes you're just sat there
like,
and you're like just.
This is just like a really slow microwave. Like we're
slowly
That's what I'm saying.
slowly cooking. But they make the lighting look awesome. So
you know you can't hear you because your microphone's.
Oh yeah, I forgot to pick up my microphone. Sorry. For those who didn't hear me, I said it's like sitting under sitting in like a really slow microwave, but make this podcast look better. So we cook for a reason. So.
Someone's gonna edit the countdown sound now. Just me staring, thinking.
I want to go to another point.
You're gone.
What's your perception about ghosting? Because I see ghosting like if it's just like out of nowhere, it's like super super wrong. But imagine if you're talking with a girl or something, and the thing is like slowly like dying. You know what I mean? And it's not like directly like stopping. It's like
so there's always
to not make like things uncomfortable. I don't see like wrong. But I want to.
So like if it's already like petering out and like
imagine
it's like dead chat anyway.
It's not dead, but it's dying.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. And at some point, like you're gonna stop talking.
I mean, I have a good. My opinion on this is that a goodbye text is needed. I hate when people ghost me. It happens all the time, and it's really irritating.
It leaves you hanging.
At least if you. And I'm more likely to go after you, and like if I've got you on Instagram, you block me on Snapchat or whatever.
Yeah.
I might go to your Instagram and go, "Hey, what's up? What's happened?" If you say, "It's not working," laters, at least then I know.
It's closure.
It's closure.
Mm-hmm.
It is closure, but then I think if that situation happened to me, they've already shown me the sign.
What if the other person?
So I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, but I'm a
that's
stubborn.
That's just me though.
I'm a really stubborn guy. I will not take it lying down.
Yeah.
Like I've got to find out.
Yeah, and that's the difference. I'm super laid back, but for someone like yourself who's stubborn, you're gonna be like, why? What happened? I want to find out why and all the reasons.
I've got to grow from this. I've got to know why, so I can come back next time and go, okay, I know what I'm doing.
For me, it's what will be will be.
Such a healthy way of looking at it.
Yeah,
that's such a healthy way. I need to know so I can learn from this experience and grow as a person. That is such a healthy way.
Such a nice way.
It's so nice.
I'm very aware of my taking it away from like relationship stuff. I'm very aware of my mental capabilities, and I'm very aware that I've got to work my ass off to get to a point intelligence-wise. So I'm always learning, and therefore that seeps into everything else. That I've got to learn what I did wrong, so next time I don't get it wrong because I've got to be right.
It's why I think when you find the right person, they're gonna be a very
maybe I have
man or woman.
So maybe question: how? I think I know the answer to this, but how do you know you found the right person, or how do you think that feeling is?
God,
is it?
No, I want to listen.
This is a thing. I just think I have a vision of how I am around a person who I'm dating and we're madly in love, and it's been a while. Like it's that the things that we do, the things that I say. I have a vision of that. It's getting to there that's always been the problem for me.
Okay.
So I see comfortability as the key thing. If I'm comfortable with a person early, then I know. If it's hard work, if they're not responding to what I'm saying, if I'm just not feeling it and I'm not feeling the urge to text back like straight away.
Yeah, I think I think it's just down to the very, very first date. What are your intentions with this? And you can't just go into you can't go into a first date thinking like I'm gonna marry this person.
Well, that's not a good idea.
That's quite stupid.
Well,
but some
I'd say
some
it's not smart.
some people fall into
I
it
get
though.
attached very easily. But
Yeah, some people get attached, and that's fine because that's
Is that
that's their
not-
attachment style.
Is that not a trait you could try and, learn to change in yourself?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think
Because I do think from speaking to friends who are girls and my girlfriend
Yeah.
and stuff like that, if a guy, like, there's like, again, it's a fine line between, you clearly want them and they want you to want them.
yeah.
But then there's a fine line where you go a little bit too far, too quickly, and then they're like, hold up, wait a minute,
slow down.
slow down a little bit.
I mean, that could be anything. That could
Yeah.
be like, oh, I'll stay over on Netflix and chill or whatever it is.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
You were speaking, I think? Yeah,
Sorry,
he asked you a
at the same
question.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's different with different people. If I feel like so comfortable so quickly, then I'm just like, yeah, let's just keep going. I'm not the kind of person to just, oh, you're awesome. Here's a ring. Let's get down. Let's get on it.
Let's get down to business.
But like, I'm gonna want to get comfortable with you as quickly as
Yeah.
possible and do like normal things together as quickly as possible and be not the same person, but like be together as quickly as possible.
I think normal is exactly the right word.
Hmm?
If it's normal for you to be hanging around them, if it's normal,
It
for
needs
you
to be
want
normal.
To go to their-
I want. It's not that I want things to happen quickly. It's
It
that I
can't
want
be
it to be
normal
normal.
either. It needs to
quickly.
be,
But like
normal more.
but
innit?
like,
if it's
normal
it's a friend.
as in you're excited about it. Does that make sense?
What is normal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
because
know. What is-
if it's normal, I'm not excited.
It's
If it's
true
normal, it's
connection.
normal.
Okay, I think
Maybe
the
it's
word
because
is different.
Maybe it's because it's been a while for me, but normal sounds
Maybe
great.
simple
I
is
can't
a better
wait
word.
for normal. Normal sounds awesome.
simple. Yeah, not normal.
No, but simple isn't it?
No, but like
If it's
simple,
simple, it's
in the
simple.
sense of, like, I'm such a fine line. It's like I'm still making sure I'm doing everything I can to make this person happy, but it's easy to do that at the same time. Like it's like
Yeah.
Why would you want to make it hard for yourself though?
exactly. I'm saying I'm not
Yeah,
making. It's,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
It's simple. It's normal.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
hard, but I'm still excited and doing everything I can for this person. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's getting to spend every day with or thinking of this person, having her be an integral part of your life. Of all,
It's
at
when
all
you're
times.
by yourself in your bed for one night and you're like, I wish I was with her.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna finish this podcast at some point, and the first thing I'm gonna do is go down on my phone and text this person.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so much.
And she will be watching this.
Yeah.
Because
Mine-
I've got
mine
to
won't.
subscribe. yeah.
My girlfriend won't, but
I'm not putting labels on it yet, but this person will. I've said to her she's got to watch the stuff, so I'll tell her about this one. She can watch this one.
I told Ella that she had to watch the stuff. Doesn't mean she does. She's been on the podcast.
Sign a contract
She's been on the
to
podcast.
be with me
fair.
after watch.
To be fair though,
To be fair, though, what?
I haven't. I don't think I've watched a single episode back that we've filmed.
Yeah.
I don't like watching myself on film. So like,
Yeah, I'm
No,
intrigued, but I
it's
want to
not
ask
that
you guys this. I don't watch it back because I'm not a fan of watching myself back.
So here's a question: are you comfortable with your own image?
Yes.
no. I have a
Yes.
list on my phone of things I'd like to improve.
I think we
work
all
on.
do, but then I think also it's
got a
having that
list.
confidence
I
to.
don't have a list either.
I have a physical list.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't.
I'll show you it later. It's getting more personal image now, but like, it's not that I don't like what I look like. I just think I could do better.
Yeah.
I think everyone thinks that they can improve,
But
like,
also,
it's a healthy thing.
right now, I think I sound awesome. I think I sound great. I sound fantastic
Sounds sexy.
in terms of my. You said it. In terms of my accent, like I think I sound great, but when I watch it back, I sound weird and I don't like it. So I just can't watch it back. But I'm happy with how I sound.
Yeah.
I think to other people I probably sound fine, but like to hear myself back is just a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I still know I'm fine.
And that comes across in dating as well. You know, if you have a strong self-image about yourself, and if you believe that I'm the guy, I'm him, kind of thing.
MVP.
Yeah. If you truly believe in who you are, and you will then attract higher caliber people, if that makes sense. Or when you when I mean higher caliber, I don't mean like or a better looking person, but
A 10.
but
50 cal.
but someone who hasn't got them negative attachment styles.
Somebody more compatible, maybe.
Yeah, compatible. It's all about compatibility as well. When you're in a good when you're in a good mindset, a good headspace, when you're healthy, you go into the gym. You're gonna meet people who are in that same area of life. But if you're depressed every weekend or going out drinking, or if I'm not saying going out drinking is a bad thing, but if you're picking up these bad habits, you're not. I always say this to my friends: you're not gonna find. Well, you might do, but you're not gonna find your wife at the club.
From 1 to 10. How important do you see confidence?
100%, 100%.
Massive.
And I think
Agreed.
confidence, again, it roots back to the way you've been told as a child. You know, if your father used to say, "Can we swear in here?"
Yes.
Amazing. So if
It's
so
a bit of a problem.
yeah,
Just don't say the C word. That's
that's
the
fine.
one.
So
Yeah, please.
if your father used to say to you every single day, "Oh, you're good for nothing, lazy piece of shit," kind of thing, you're gonna believe that as a
Yeah.
teenager, and that's gonna seep into you. So that's gonna obviously affect your confidence. So again, I know that everything roots back to your childhood, but then also as well, if you have good friends around you that say, "Oh, you know, you look good today. Your haircut's nice," and there we go.
The main.
We don't speak about this as you know in male friendship groups. It's always a bit of banter. It's all like, oh, you know, it's we don't have that honest kind of conversations. So it's a continuing thing that we need to do more. But sometimes I feel like as a man, we feel comfortability in banter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that takes away off everything.
So,
Yeah.
so you're saying we need to take more time to say to our friends, "You look good today," in a serious.
Yeah, and
Okay,
be honest. Yeah.
You look good today.
So do you, bro.
Thank you.
See what I just
Oh.
did?
So do
Honest.
you.
So do you too.
Oh,
Yeah.
So do you.
mate.
Thank you.
Only know two ways.
But yeah, it's just be nice to people. I think that's a simple thing. Be nice, be kind, and just help people as much as you can. And that will really help yourself as well. I think the more you give out, the more you receive in terms of energy, and because then you're perceived as a good person. You know, but make sure it's intentional as well. Don't be like, if someone looks bad. The way I work, if someone looks bad, I'll say. But kind of going back, it's kind of contradicting my point there. But it's being honest, and that's a good thing as well. If you think your mate's doing something wrong, you be honest with them and tell them.
Yeah.
Don't just be like, "Oh yeah, you'll be okay,"
Yeah.
because that might send them down a path. So it's having them honest conversations with your friends as well. That will, you know, whether they've got bad attachment styles or whatever. So again, it goes off your community, the people around you, and I think again, men don't have this community. Well, women do. I mean, they have the group chat. Well, I know we have, you know, like men have group chats and stuff,
You
but
have
it's
that-
mainly
you
used for
have
banter
that group
and stuff.
chat that you should not leak anywhere. Kind of thing.
I know one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they happen. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just there's power in vulnerability, and there's power in opening up and talking to people, and that's where true, growth comes from.
I think that's a fantastic way to end the podcast. Personally, that
agreed.
was a great message.
You got any links you want to drop for us if people want to
Where can
check out
they
your
find you?
service?
Just my Instagram. What camera should I look down? That one.
That one. Correct.
Kieran Birch __. You can probably put the handle
It'll
here.
be.
can't
Yeah,
you?
we'll put it in the comments. I assume.
Yeah,
Put the
yeah,
link in
yeah,
the description.
yeah. So yeah, it's just my Instagram really, and I'm trying to grow on TikTok. But again, this is my first kind of major podcast for me.
Thank you
It
very
is
much.
it is a major
Well,
podcast.
I-
Obviously, we've talked for around a year and a half.
Yeah.
Was it 2 years really?
Might
And
be 2 years, yeah.
so it's great to be here. Obviously,
So I hope you enjoy yourself.
yeah, I'll be using a few clips on my socials and
Fantastic.
hopefully pushing
Feel
you
free.
out to get better people than me.
Well,
But it's good to have conversations
I was
like
gonna
this.
say,
Yeah.
like, because obviously you have like the big names that come on to certain podcasts that have the followers and all that. But the main thing for us is we want our podcast to be interesting and to have people that people will actually enjoy listening to. Because everybody's got like the podcast that they get the big names on. We want this to be something that people go, okay, find someone new, find
Yeah.
someone interesting, and find somebody who I might
Yeah.
want to follow in the future. So
Yeah.
having someone with a unique as a following as yourself,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
You couldn't have said it anymore.
Yeah, I was
Spot on.
gonna
What can I
say, yeah, I was gonna say as well, like, this is my first podcast, so when I do my 100th one, it's gonna be so much better. and we have to start
Yes.
somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And I feel like for you guys now building this podcast, the hard yards you're doing now will make up in the future.
I really hope you're right.
No, it is. It's all social media, and I've seen it with some great brands. I've seen it with agencies. I've seen it with everyone. It's, you know, my social media agency's only got 50 followers right now, but I've got clients. But people don't see that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So for you, you know, you've got a great setup. But people don't always see that because they might see the number on the screen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's
Yeah, of
always
course.
about value over the amount of content you create. So really, I say just really focus on the quality of the people you get on. So as you said, it's not always getting the biggest names on. It's getting that bit of gold dust from people that people haven't heard of.
Well, I mean, I think some of our best podcasts have been people that people don't know.
Say Curl King,
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Who else? What was the other the commentator we had on? The first, I don't think I was in that one. It was the first one we did.
That was online.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
we had
online.
Alan.
No, it wasn't Alan.
I
That was
wasn't
the other
there.
one.
I know who you're talking about.
Gary Taphouse.
Gary Taphouse.
Ah.
Obviously,
Which-
I got a job
yeah.
through this podcast.
Yes,
Shout
was that-
out
was
to
that-
Alan and Simon, who are my new bosses.
Yes.
How you doing with that?
Loving it. I'm
Fair.
tired.
Shall I don't know if this will get clipped out. This, but do you know what I told you earlier about what happened this morning?
Oh yeah, finish on that. Yeah.
So this is crazy, right? So I'm currently in Richmond with family. So obviously I had a meeting prior to this. Went on the tube. This guy sat like directly opposite me. I had my AirPods in, and he tapped me, and he was like, "Oh, where do you get your shoes from?" Oh no, he didn't say that. Sorry, he said, "Oh, I like your shoes." That was it. And then I was like, "Oh, thanks." And he's like, "Oh, I work for No Two Ways," and I was like, "What?" You know, we were having a conversation then, and he's actually the chief operating officer of No Two Ways,
Oh shit!
which is
That's
crazy.
ridiculous.
Like
That's mental.
Just randomly, just in front of
randomly,
you.
I could have woke up late and gone for a different train, and the fact he sat opposite me.
And it's also the fact that
And he
he's
saw
then
my
decided as well to chat to you about it. Like,
Well-
he could have just sat there and gone, "Oh, nice."
I think what No Two Ways are really good about, and I might clip this up actually and put it on my own socials and
Go
tag
on then.
them about
Go
this.
ahead, yeah.
But what they're really good at doing is creating community, and through their mailing list, it's amazing of what they're doing and building a brand. And I said to him that I was like, you know, it's gonna take a while to get to the likes of Adidas or Nike or all these big brands, but
This?
What are those? Yeah.
They're just.
There's Yeezys.
Yeezys.
Are they? That's what Yeezys do now, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or even
Yeah.
get to that level.
Even get Adidas,
Yeah.
Nike,
It's longevity, you
Yeah.
know. And I feel like, as I said to you before, with a podcast and anything, you might not realize what you're doing now, but when you make it, you'll look back and think, "Oh, we've been building this for like 2 or 3 years."
4 years for me.
4 years. There we go.
Yeah. Well, you're 4 years. I'm about to
And
hit 1 year.
I remember watching your
True.
video was on this 2 years ago, and the quality of the questions, you know, everyone asks are really good, because I'm the type of person sometimes I sometimes struggle to get my point across. But I think what makes some podcasts so great is when you ask questions and follow up questions, and you keep getting to the heart of what it is, and you're trying to dig for that bit of gold.
Yeah.
100%. The quality of the content comes before anything else.
And I think we've just been improving, really.
Yeah.
Nice.
Obviously
From the
we've
first one
got-
we did this year?
Oh my god, yeah.
It's a
compar-
massive
in
improvement.
comparison,
We've
yeah.
we've gone from trying to set up ourselves with random bits of equipment in our friend's kind of downstairs office bit of his building to having access to this great studio with a great team
Yeah,
behind
it's
the scenes. We've brought on more students to help
Yeah.
out. We've added structure and planning to our system. So we've got spreadsheets and schedules, and I've got a guest list that I keep up to date
Amazing.
with.
And
Yeah.
we're so ahead as well. It's brilliant.
We've
Yeah.
got like 3 weeks ahead in terms of content.
Yeah,
We filmed this
I
like
think
3
so.
weeks ahead of when they actually
Awesome.
come out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Which
so-
does cause issues when you got content
It
like
does-
the Euros
yeah.
ones, but
Well, yeah,
you can
we're
shuffle
gonna have to
things
shift
around.
everyone
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And we've got these amazing editors who are great.
Thank you, Lily.
and Lily as well behind the scenes. Without the editors and Lily, I don't think it would be anywhere near as
Yeah.
good. But
Awesome.
But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for watching. Do subscribe if you're new, and like the video if you enjoyed. Check out Kieran, and we'll see you guys for the next
Cheers.
podcast. Cheers.
See you guys.